thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Tuesday, June 26th, and today is National Strawberry Parfait Day, Todd. That's right. It's National Leon Day. National
Leon?
Yeah, Leon. Yeah, shout out to all the Leons out there.
Guys named Leon?
That's what I'm guessing. It's also National Catfish Day. I can't figure out if this is just for the catfish or if this is for the catfish.
Are you bitches on Tinder?
I'm willing to bet it's for all those people that get hosed on the internet.
Those Instagram filters?
Fished.
Yes. Anyways, thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above on your screen to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. But kicking us off today, that is right. We have, is he here yet? Is he here? Nope, he is not here. Todd, you want to start this off?
Whatever you say, sir.
All right. We're going to roll with the golden voice himself. He's the founder of DigiPath Labs out there in Las Vegas, Nevada, as well as the Smuggleverse, where you can buy all of your digital dank. That's right. Here to kick it off is the golden voice himself, Mr. Todd Denkin.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everybody. Happy to be here and a happy Tuesday. My story comes out of Pennsylvania, as Pennsylvania marijuana operators are vexed by state-mandated software. Pennsylvania's medical marijuana retailers recorded more than $1.3 billion in sales last year, despite hiccups and outages that operators say could be avoided if state-mandated track and trace software worked properly, or at least the way it's supposed to work by law. While MJ Freeway merged with BioTrack last month, under the new Aleve brand, MJ Freeway continues to be Pennsylvania's provider under a 2017 contract. But according to frustrated industry operators and at least one state lawmaker, MJ Freeway does not allow two-way API, which is really application programming interface, with other state-approved software programs commonly used by marijuana businesses to manage inventory and sales. That means the two software programs can't communicate directly, and as a result, businesses must manually enter lab testing, point of sale, and other data into MJ Freeway. That time-consuming and error-prone extra task could be completed instantly with a functional two-way API, said Meredith Butner, Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Cannabis Coalition and Industry Advocacy Organization. And if MJ Freeway suffers an outage, as it did last September, all business is stopped. The API just doesn't work. When we talk to folks like Dutchie or iHeartJane or other software providers, they very clearly say the API doesn't work, Butner told MJ Biz Daily. A lot of this would be less infuriating if we did have a two-way API connection and the ability to serve patients offline. Worse still is that Pennsylvania Health Department has been required to implement the full integration of API under a 2021 law, but has yet to do so, according to State Representative Joe McAndrew, a Democrat who represents Pittsburgh's northeast suburbs. I'm a young man who understands technology a little bit, the 33-year-old lawmaker said during a recent phone interview with MJ Biz Daily. For one company in this space to have the keys to the castle, it just doesn't make any sense to me. In May, McAndrew introduced a resolution in state legislature that, if passed, would direct the health department to prepare a written review of its contract with MJ Freeway within the next 30 days. The resolution also would instruct the agency to, quote, integrate API technology as required under state law. As of now, the health department has approved 7 software vendors for state-regulated medical marijuana companies to use. However, not all of them can communicate with MJ Freeway, according to McAndrew's resolution. Further muddying the situation, it's unclear which platforms can interact with the state-mandated software. Asked to comment on the situation earlier this month, the Leeds Chief Operating Officer Mo Afina directed MJ Biz Daily's questions to the state. Health Department spokesperson Neil Rulin said via email that the agency's top priority in administering all its data systems is ensuring proper guardrails are in place to protect patient data. To clarify, Pennsylvania already utilizes a seed-to-sale solution that includes some application programming interfaces with medical marijuana organizations, he wrote. Our medical marijuana program is always open to system improvements and is committed to finding ways to adjust the available APIs to balance the needs of MMOs while still protecting patient information. Ruland did not respond to follow-up queries, nor did he identify which vendors have a functioning two-way API with MJ Freeway. Is there a MJ Freeway replacement? Well, Pennsylvania is shopping around for a replacement to MJ Freeway, according to a public notice posted on a government website last November. But the status of that search is unclear. Ruland did not provide details about the search when asked. MJ Freeway initial 5-year contract valued at $10.3 million, according to reports, already was renewed once in April of 2022. That contract also allows MJ Freeway to charge medical marijuana licenses an additional, get this, $80,000 per year for support, according to Grown In, a Chicago-based cannabis industry newsletter. Meanwhile, state lawmakers are mulling 3 separate proposals for adult use legislation. Legalizing recreational marijuana would prompt the state's cannabis industry to reach $2.8 billion in annual sales, according to an estimate released this week by an advocacy group, Legalization PA. That underscores the need for a functioning seed-to-sale platform that communicates with other software, according to marijuana advocates. Butner said, "We could have addressed this sooner instead of having the last few years of catastrophic outages." I'm Todd Denkin with High at 9 News, and what do you guys think about this state-mandated software program that doesn't really solve a problem, doesn't really work properly, and why does the state get involved and mandate that MJ Freeway has to be the one used?
Because they won the contract. So that's how this process works. There's a bidding contract. I'm actually surprised that BioTrack and MJ Freeway won this one. But let's just acknowledge, it sucks. It's a pain in the ass. Metric's a pain in the ass. BioTrack's a pain in the ass. It's all a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
but here's the problem. Yeah. There's a simple way to do this. And the fact that your API with your POS is not going back and forth means that you have to do a CSV upload of your sales once you reconcile them at the end of the day. Now, nobody wants to take the time to learn how to do that. And yes, it sucks. It's an extra step. I totally get it. Done it. It's a pain in the ass. But it's also what you have to do when Metric goes down. Let's also look at the fact that, didn't Dutchie go down and leave everybody shit out on 420?
Oh, on 420, yeah. Their whole thing crashed. So everyone was doing paper sales.
Your staff needs to stop trying to dummy it down. I totally get it. It's easier to have the API do it for you, but there are ways to do this in the background. And yes, it has to be one system, like the guy who was 33-year-old giving comment, whatever his name was, because it's a track and trace system. So if everything is on a track and trace system, then yes, it does effectively have to be tracked and traced on the same system.
I mean, well, I'll say this, that the track and trace system is not the system in which most businesses use to actually run their business and collect all the you know, the minute data that's not supposed to go into like all this stuff. So BioTrack and, you know, MJ Freeway had a slight advantage on Metric, because Metric doesn't help you, you know, run your business per se. It just helps you track the packages. But that's the problem, is like, there is no magic bullet for this. You have to use multiple systems, and you have to have good data entry protocols, and you have to have somebody that's overseeing that, because your data is only as good as the people putting it in. So
that's true.
You know, as Todd mentioned, the error-prone process, I think that was maybe written in the article, but it's like, that's ultimately the problem. No matter who's putting it in, there's bound to be a mistake. So automation with this stuff is key, but because IP is such a big deal in our industry, none of these, you know, companies that have this technology want to offer up an API because they want to make it difficult. So what's the solution? Could it be that like this track and trace system itself is broken in the beginning, and we need a whole new reform on how to like accurately track and trace this product? But it's fucking bogus.
I'll tell you what, prior to legalization, it was a lot easier just to track and trace all the stuff that we sold. It was a whole hell of a lot easier and a whole hell of a lot cheaper to do.
Yep.
That's
Jason
the
had
goal is to not track it or trace it or have it traceable.
Bob,
Man,
I
just
bought
saying.
an eighth.
Just saying.
Jimmy came in and bought a half.
You know, we just write it down on a piece of paper, and then when we're done with that, we shove it right into the paper shredder.
Right. Once you're done closing out that tab, bud, with what tab? Yeah, no, I think it's crazy. Me and Saman fucking agreed. First time
Look
this
at
morning.
that.
Let's
Look
go.
at that. Look at that.
Let's go. Partially. I mean,
Hey, man.
this is a lot of what I do. For you guys that don't know, I do metric consults and things like that. A lot of compliance, a lot of licensing. So it's a pain in the ass, and it's the pain in the ass that I have to deal with when you guys go in there and muck it up. So, I mean, he's right. It's as good as the people that you have doing it. So I don't know. Maybe train your staff better. Maybe know how to. I've done metric on fucking paper because the system went down and I wasn't shutting the store down for the day.
Exactly.
There are ways to do these things completely manual. Like, I can't drive a manual car, but I sure as shit can do manual track and trace.
I could drive a manual car.
Well, that's all right.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm scared of you driving a regular
Yeah,
car.
you know,
I got
But
you
I
here today.
appreciate you. Yes. Good friend, chauffeur.
Yes, as bad as metric is, it has definitely gotten better over the last couple of years.
You think it's gotten better?
Todd, we've been using metric since 2014. Wait, hold on. It's been a decade. My MITs came out in Colorado, and I was actually one of the first people to have to use the system for one of the largest companies in Colorado to transfer all the inventory into it on New Year's Eve between 2013 and 2014.
Oh, isn't it better now?
Well, my MITs, they changed the name. It got so much better, Todd. They had to change the freaking name of it because it got so much better.
Yes, do you remember the day that metric went down in Colorado and they said, sorry, we're stoned?
Which day?
And we all lost our
I mean, Jenny, I wish there was only one day to remember. There was literally so many days.
No, because they had the servers in Florida and hurricane season sucked for us. But there was one day that they thought they were cute and their error message was, sorry, we're stoned. And everyone lost their shit, because the last thing you want when you've got a line full of customers and people screaming at you and employees pissed off is for metric to make a little stoner joke about it.
No, I mean, I can recall so many times that system faltered in the worst possible time. And I'm not on the retail side. I'm on like the manufacturing side, which they're all equally fucked. But ultimately, like, this has not gotten to the point where we're like so much better than when it rolled out, Todd. But of course, it's improved, but that improvement is on a scale. It's nothing.
I am shooketh. I'm having PTSD right now, Saman. I'm just picturing myself on the side of a mountain in Canyon City at the cultivation, metric spinning, and it starts snowing, and I'm like, I gotta go.
And then the pinwheel.
Oh, you're in Canyon City.
Put it back in the Connex.
Jenny Beth's been in the cut. She's been in the cut.
And then the pinwheel starts spinning on the computer screen.
Yeah.
God.
Metric goes down every once in a while, once or twice a month. There's definitely an issue with metric. But you're right, Jenny. You got to teach your people how to use it.
In all honesty,
and you really do.
In all honesty, I wouldn't have a problem if BioTrack and Metric all went down as long as it wasn't during business hours. I'd have no problem with that.
Unknown caller.
Well, I mean, the reality is that no matter when it goes down, you're still responsible for the integrity of the data. And so it's like, no matter what, it's like there's all these circumstances that aren't on the operator, but we're still holding the bag at the end of the day. We're going to get wrapped on the knuckles if something happens with that data. If there's an audit and there's questions, we're the ones that are in trouble. And meanwhile, these things go down in the middle of business hours and you have transactions that are being taken place and you have to reconcile that. Well, we know that people can't, count very well already. So now we're putting that on your $16 an hour bud tender to keep track of that. Hey, somewhere in that supply chain, there's going to be some data getting corrupted.
100%. I mean, it doesn't matter how you get it in there. It needs to be in there within 24 hours. And I think the bigger problem
That's what she said.
Track and trace systems going down are the POS systems. Listen,
or he said.
The bigger issue is the fact that there are some POS systems that will not work and do what they need to do and backlog the data so that when the metric connection or BioTrack or whatever is reestablished, it starts to refeed the information. So I think they need to look at that on a POS side as well.
And on that, we're going to go into a commercial, but before we do that, I do want to highlight this comment. Miss Ingrid Faye says, Saman's hands are huge. And on that, we're going to go to a commercial and be right back.
Can we see them? Are they?
Yeah.
See them up there.
Well, hello. Good morning,
guys.
Oh, man, that was weird. Hey, you, America. Do I look like Sean Connery? Good morning, America. Saman Razani coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, California with the one and only highest host, Mr. Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast? You can find it on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. No excuses in 2024. If you haven't checked us out, check it out now. And also, check out what the Prophet's doing in 2024.
And we're back, you guys.
Oh yeah,
and we're back.
I'm super late today. Thank you for your patience with my technical difficulties. Where are we at, Jason?
We're on me, bro. That was our first story. Yeah.
I'm just hopping in.
Well, that's what happens when you're late. It's okay. It's all right. We're gonna get you up to speed, bro.
It is. Yeah. That's why I'm rolling with the punches, man. So with that being said,
it's just like when I run the 40.
We're gonna go into.
Oh wow. All right.
A 41.
I'm gonna hold my jokes on that right now.
40.
So and I'll just let everybody know that up next we have the High at 9 News head honcho, known for smoking the best weed in the world, the highest Republican in every single room, and judging by his comments that he just made a second ago, don't believe a fucking word that he said.
Fastest track star, bro. 40-yard dash, bro. Watch out.
I just pictured that and I hate myself.
Yeah, smoke Rico in the 40 right now. But man,
you probably would.
I probably would, and let me tell you who else is smoking on this 40-yard dash, you guys. Because guess what? That's right, Sha'Carri Richardson. She has now qualified for the Paris Olympics with the 100-meter triumph, you guys. That's right. Yes, big applause for her because Sha'Carri Richardson is officially heading to Paris to compete in the Olympic Games for the first time. The 24-year-old track and field sprinter qualified for the event on Saturday night with a 10.71 second 100-meter run. Richardson's feat, which she clocked at Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon, registered as the fastest woman's time in the competition by any woman this year, according to World Athletics. Congratulations, Miss Sha'Carri Richardson. That is a big deal right there. Yes. Immediately following Richardson... Immediately following Richardson's speedy feat, the runner dropped to her knees before embracing and celebrating alongside Melissa Jefferson and Tonisha Terry, who both qualified for the Paris Olympics alongside Richardson with times of 10.80 and 10.89 seconds, respectively. Richardson will start her Olympic journey on August 2nd in Paris, where the women's 100-meter run preliminary round kicks off. In August of last year, Richardson notched a 10.65 second 100-meter time in Budapest, Hungary at the World Athletics Championships. In 2021, Richardson won the 100 meters at the U.S. Olympic trials, making her the fastest woman in America and positioning her to compete for the gold in the Tokyo Olympics. However, her chances of participating in the 100 meters at the Olympics were erased after it was announced that she had tested positive for THC, a chemical found in marijuana, you guys. Richardson told reporters at the time that she used marijuana during the Olympic trials in Oregon, which has legalized the substance for adult use purposes and as a way to cope with the loss of her birth mother. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency suspended her for 30 days, citing the World Anti-Doping Agency's ban on cannabis. And man, oh man, you guys, is Sha'Carri Richardson going to drop the ball again and start toking on the devil's lettuce and end up getting a disqualifier again? Or will she be the champion and bring it home for the gold for America this year? We shall see, and time will tell. This is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News Hour. What do y'all have to say about this?
First of all, yes, Black excellence.
You might call it devil's lettuce. You might call it the devil's lettuce. I call it happy cabbage, Jason.
Oh, I see what you did there, Rico.
Oh, man.
That was cute. That was cute. Very, very cute.
I think first of all, Sha'Carri should represent the anti-agency dopers, and I think we should all make that a real thing. Instead of the anti-doping agency, the anti-agency dopers, because this is crazy. Cannabis should not be banned at all, but for a sport especially. That is that should be like that. The ignorance of these people. It's like weed should actually, make you less, agile
right.
with like,
I think the only competition that you should get expelled for using cannabis from would be something like maybe like a leaf blowing competition.
No, the hot dog eating contest. I could see.
Or a hot dog eating contest.
There,
that's right.
But like if you can blow down a 3.5 wood and smoke somebody in a foot race, like please, sis, do it twice on Sunday. That's amazing.
I mean, yeah, for real. That's it is sad. It's been crazy watching this. Watching this like amazing athlete who is going through the worst tragedy in her life, arguably, and then to have her ability to race and compete stripped away by a group of organizers who know absolutely zero, right? Because this is like, we're talking about performance enhancing drugs, okay? Cannabis is definitely not a what I would consider a performance enhancing drug. No one would. It's like the same as like alcohol or whatever, it's like they're not testing, let's say a basketball player, football player for like alcohol because they're like, that's not a performance enhancing drug. They're testing for steroids. They're testing for things that give you a measurable increase in ability over your competitors. And it's like cannabis definitely, that's why the UFC, I applaud them. They don't,
NFL, NBA,
NHL, and
Major League Baseball.
Yeah, these are all. I mean, those are.
Didn't Sha'Carri also just have a baby recently, like not too long ago?
Well, that would have helped her score.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so everything.
I think she should run the race
She's still
clean.
like, I'm gonna run faster. So let her have it.
That's right.
Jesus
That's right.
Christ.
Here's what I hope for her.
Here's what I hope.
Go for it, Yarrow.
Here's what I hope for her. When she was stripped of the recognition for her athletic accomplishments, the whole world winced, and it was this stark reminder of how much further we still have to go for normalization. And my hope for her is, I mean, this woman knows with the way in which they monitor these athletes, this woman knows a little bit about track and trace herself. So my hope for her is that she goes out and she wins this race, and she gets the measure of public redemption that she deserves as a dedicated athlete. And then she gets a little sponsorship opportunity with MJ Freeway, and they put her as a poster child for coming back from adversity.
I think she runs the race nice and clean, does everything, and at the end when she wins, pulls out a joint from her top there.
Oh, they'll disqualify her then. But
the race is over. The race is over.
They totally disqualify.
I mean, just to troll the entire,
the world
committee in the world. It's like, who was the athlete that got in trouble for that? They like I think it was a football player. He scored a touchdown. They pulled the Sharpie out of his out of his sock.
They grandstanding. Yep. Grandstanding.
I mean, she should look. If she, first of all, she shouldn't give a fuck. She knows she's, arguably the fastest female to run these races, so she shouldn't really care. I would love to see someone like that give a big fuck you to like these, draconian organizations that are keeping out obviously talented athletes from competing. Maybe because they're scared. Maybe because that's the only thing they could hold against her. But maybe that would be cool to see, but I really hope whatever happens that she ends up on top of the podium again, and I hope that she brings it home for all of us smokers out there who enjoy some cannabis.
She has the potential to be the land-based Michael Phelps.
We got a womp.
Yes.
Did you say land-based or land-raised?
Land-based Michael Phelps. And on that, we're going to keep this.
Well, it's always got to be about race.
Oh, boy. We're going to keep this show rolling. We're going to roll right in. That's right, to Mr. Rico Lamitte. He's the dope dad himself who had a little bit of internet issues today. His connectivity was a little bit low, but apparently he was able to go and get on board today. That's right. It is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte. You all right over there, Rico?
And I appreciate all of. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now you're good. Yeah. Whatever you
can hear me. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Appreciate your patience with my technical difficulties. I am in a new crib, and the internet is spotty here until I get this shit fixed. So, my story is some big news coming out of Johannesburg, South Africa, and the company psilocybin, psilocybin became the first medical cannabis company to list on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange is Alternative Exchange. According to Reuters News, the psilocybin company hopes to capitalize on the growth of the legal marijuana industry in South Africa. And South Africa in 2018 legalized marijuana for personal use, and in 2019 legalized CBD. Told Reuters that the global medical cannabis market is projected to grow to about $40.4 billion by the end by 2032, and 12 point. I can't be right. It says 40.4 billion by 2032, then 12.6 billion by 2023. That's a typo. I think they meant to say 40 million by 2032 and 12 billion by 2023. Either way, he says as the markets mature, we want to be at the forefront of taking advantage of them. Funds raised from the listing will help the company tap into the growing global investment. Article, the company, which was founded in 2022. Manufacturing process. Psilocybin will manufacture in the Australian market, where it sells cannabis oils, flowers, and pharmaceutical ingredients to about 10,000 customers each month. And some of you with a keen ear out there may have noticed that this is not the first time Psilocybin, a medical marijuana company with the name, has been in the news over the last several years. The company fell short of the 50 million rand, which is about 2.75 million, needed to list on the main board of the JSE in 2022 after a failed attempt to list by way of a SPAC. The much maligned method. Many cannabis companies tried to do the same thing during the pandemic. They are also aiming to list on the NASDAQ in the next 3 years. And the shares, which were offered at 1 rand per share, were trading at 6 rand time by the. And I also wanted to note that this is not the weirdest thing. The name of this company being about mushrooms is not the weirdest thing if you dig deeper. Obviously, the whole SPAC thing was shady of them, and they couldn't raise the funds back in 2022. But also digging deeper than that, one of the presidents at the company, Eric So, has been tied to a lot of red flags surrounding this company. I'm not saying that there is definitely a fire, but generally when it comes to first movers in emerging markets, you might want to stay away from them. But we will we're tracking this one. A big shout out, I guess, to South Africa for finally moving forward and getting a company listed on their exchange. Hopefully, the ones that come after psilocybin end up being less than this one.
What'd you say? This CEO
was that on the street for High 9 News? What's that?
What'd you say this CEO did previously?
A president at the company, Eric So.
Yes.
He was the founder of a company called So. Here we go. Yeah, he was a Riot, a blockchain.
Riot blockchain
scheme.
Pump and dump. Okay. All right.
I remember Riot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a riot.
There was a broken.
I'm just gonna say I hate everything about this. I hate everything about this. And let me tell you what I hate.
Bullshit.
Let me bucket out my hate for a second. First of all, the name is stupid and sucks. Okay, it's like it's punny for a second, and then you just realize, what the fuck, bro? You're not even in that industry. Then I hate that they're raising money, and in the article it says that the use of the money they're raising is to tap into the global investor appetite for investing. So you're going to take my money. You're going to take my money and you're going to use it to raise more money. Fuck you. And then on top of that, in this short little article, it says that what they've been doing is acquiring businesses, right? So they are just playing the arbitrage play. This is so Canada 2019. Are you fucking kidding me? And so I've been around for a second. I haven't heard that there's this global investor appetite. I think investors like to make money, and they like to see companies that execute on their business plan in order to make their investors money. I didn't hear anything in here that was unique, novel, proprietary, had intellectual property involved. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs down. They're not getting the yellow ticket to go to Hollywood. For me, it was very karaoke.
Well, I have a couple questions. Go ahead, Saman.
Oh, I was gonna say, Yarrow, they have to buy the people that are gonna, increase the appetite for these investors. They have to get the big names. They gotta pay the $500,000 a year salaries to some fucking, whoever who was, mixing and mingling with these billionaires during that 2019 period or that 2017 period. And, is like this bohemian Tulum traveling, whatever. So that's kind of the way it goes, right?
So here's a couple questions on this. I'm willing to bet that these guys are banking on the fact that a majority of their global pool are going to think that they're investing into a psychedelics company because psychedelics is a big thing, and it doesn't have the stigma of losing money that cannabis companies do. And I wonder your opinion, Jenny, as well as Rico, on this. If there are investors that do invest in that, if they can claim some type of fraud because of the fact that they were misled to thinking that they were investing into a psychedelics company over a cannabis company.
I mean, if you don't go any farther than the name of the company you're investing in and you funnel your money in there, then shame on you. You don't deserve that money anyway. But I spoke with some of the guys from South Africa in Frankfurt a couple weeks ago, and they're not really buying it either. I think, in the naming portion, I think they probably went to South African Burning Man, and somebody was all whacked out, was like, let's call it duh. So
Fair.
the name sucks. I agree with you, Yarrow. 2 thumbs down.
I actually thought it was CeeLo. I think
CeeLo Green should sue the shit out of him.
Yeah, he should. I think should happen. He definitely should. Hey. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not even spelled the same as CeeLo's name.
Well,
yeah, but I mean, it's about
I don't think he has a case.
I don't think he has.
It reminds me of those pretentious restaurants you go to where they take like one letter out of the word, and it's like forks without an O, or
you're like,
sear without an E.
Or a Y instead of an I.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I guess they don't have any branding agencies in South Africa.
I mean, unless the intent is to build all this money up.
Another thing, they're not even South African. They're Australian.
Pivot, but
they're Australian, and they're basing their company in South Africa.
Well, that just makes sense.
This whole fucking thing is shady, and it seems like some colonizing bullshit. Yeah, like the founders, they're Australians.
There goes Rico.
How's that colonizing? I don't understand that part.
What do you mean, how's that colonizing?
Just saying.
I mean, I guess, Rico, to
They're
be
from
fair,
Australian.
Oh my God, Jason.
to be fair, South
Jason
Africa is
gaslighting over
hella
here again.
white, apartheid and whatnot. But no, I think it's still, Jason. All right, we're gonna go over colonizing on the next one.
All right, well, we're going to go to a commercial and we're going to discuss colonizing while we're gone.
Get ready for the 2X Monster Truck Live Tour, coming to San Bernardino Nos Orange Event Show Speedway on June 22nd, and in Northern California at Watsonville at the Ocean Speedway on June 29th. Make sure you head over to www.number2extremeracingseries.com for all of the tickets for this family fun event.
See all the sparks coming on the bottom right now? Where the train is?
News.
All right. Stop whatever you're doing, guys. Make sure that you hit that like button. I know we'll appreciate it, you'll appreciate it, and YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show will be up on our website a little bit later on today at www.highat9news.com. Two quick announcements for you guys today. We will be, Rico, Jenny, Beth, and myself will be up at the Man's Chinese Theater today at 2:30 for the premiere of Weldon Angelos's movie. So we want to send much love out to them and everyone affiliated in regards with this premiere screening, and we look forward to checking it out today. And also, we want to thank all of you at home because yesterday we hit 700,000 views on this channel. So thank you all, and please give yourself at home a round of applause because we appreciate you.
Absolutely. And we appreciate Weldon. What an amazing example of activism and really, truly fighting the good fight. Shout out, Weldon.
The control tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The control tower from Highly Educated.
Oh, yeah. Up next is the founder of Digipath Labs, co-founder of the Smuggleverse, the Golden Tongue.
Me again?
The Golden Tongue.
Todd went, Rico.
No. We already did Todd, bro. You're going to Yarrow. You got Yarrow. I mean, everything's right in the spreadsheet, bro.
Bowing to you here, Yarrow.
Yeah, you can't blame it on
I was
me.
going to take Yarrow's story and just go with it. Are you actually coming to work today?
Thanks for tuning in.
Rico, you with us? You with us?
I'm gonna do my own intro.
All right, we have the
Sebastopol.
We have the Sebastopol Sage who does cannabis. He does real estate, and every once in a while, when there's money in cannabis, he does some cannabis real estate. He loves to sit by the pool in his tidy whities, sipping Pinot with his pinkies up. That's right, it is Mr. Yarrow Kubrin.
Oh, goes wild.
The intro hazing doesn't get better on this show. Good morning, viewers. Tuesday, June 25th. Thank you for joining us for High at 9 News. My article today is not about psilocybin. My article today is about the California State Fair. California State Fair expands cannabis competition. This July marks the first time cannabis will be legally sold at a state fair. Sacramento. The California State Fair is set to make history this July by integrating on-site cannabis sales and consumption, ushering a new era as the first time cannabis will be legally sold at a state fair. The historic action is a continuation of the California State Fair's leadership on cannabis after legalization signed by the governor, allowing for licensed cannabis events to take place. In 2022, the California State Fair introduced an educational cannabis event and awards competition to showcase the plant alongside California's other agricultural bounty, such as wine, cheese, olive oil, and craft beer. I'll say yes to all of those, by the way. This year, the event will expand to include a broadened cannabis competition and on-site sales and consumption, bolstering the significant efforts already made to designate cannabis through as a destigmatize cannabis through education, advocacy, and access. Hosting cannabis sales and consumption is a groundbreaking milestone in destigmatizing by facilitating a deeper connection between consumers and the farmers who cultivate their products with such care, said Lauren Carpenter, co-founder of Embark, the fair's partner in facilitating on-site sales and consumption. Joining James Letts, pioneer of the educational exhibit and competition for the past 2 years, on an expanded competition and experiential dispensary is a major step forward for responsible normalization. The Cannabis Exhibition Hall for State Fair attendees ages 21 and over is packed with educational information about the state's cannabis history and exhibits of top California brands and farms. Attendees can scan QR codes to learn more about Golden Bear award-winning products, add items to a virtual shopping basket, and purchase them at Embark's on-site dispensary. The area will feature 30,000 square feet consumption lounge accessible via a designated sky walking path to provide attendees over the age of 21 with an opportunity to try winning products from diverse farms and brands from across California. The initiative spotlights the significant role of cannabis in California's agricultural industry, marking a major milestone in the state's fair's 170-year history, said James Letts, executive producer of the cannabis competition and exhibit. Expanding the competition to include all form factors and providing patrons the opportunity to directly engage with and consume winning brands is transformational for public understanding of the plant. As part of the commitment to consumer education and awareness, this year's cannabis competition was expanded to include product categories for pre-rolls, concentrates, cartridges, edibles, beverages, and wellness products, in addition to flower, enhancing the science-based testing with additional judging by a panel of experts. With more than 500 entries, double the number compared to last year, the California State Fair's Cannabis Award is the largest state-sanctioned cannabis competition of its kind. The California State Fair took a historic leadership position in 2022 with the introduction of a cannabis exhibit and competition, said Tom Martinez, CEO of the California State Fair. This year, we've expanded our offerings to include on-site sales and consumption in a designated area to provide a platform to amplify California's rich agricultural bounty and facilitate storytelling for farmers from diverse backgrounds and experiences. We've partnered with the city of Sacramento, the state of California, James Letts, and Embark, alongside a robust on-site public health and safety infrastructure to ensure a responsible and community-sensitive event. We look forward to welcoming visitors from across the state and beyond to this informative experience. So before y'all rail on me thinking this is just some PR news release soft promo, I just want to point out this is kind of a big deal to be able to go to the state fair, get your funnel cake, get your wedding cake. That works all day, every day for me. 30,000 square feet is a generous allocation of space to be able to do our thing, and I'm really personally excited about attending. This is Yarrow Kubrin. High at 9. I'd like to hear what my other pundits have to think.
Please stop growing cake.
So they need.
I covered this story last week.
You know what they need to do? You know what they need to do, Yarrow? You know what they need to do? They need to get a whole bunch of outdoor boof weed and then make that the hayride around the fair.
Psilocybin is contributing. They're exporting right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're gonna have to get people high, definitely, on something.
Yeah.
I think it's great. What do you guys think? I mean, is this
great? It is great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a part of California's economy. It should absolutely be highlighted at the state fair. I mean, let's be honest. What's more California than cannabis?
But what color are they highlighting it with, Saman?
What color are they highlighting it with? Well, it's definitely going to be green, Jay.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see.
I did the story last week.
You did the story last week?
Yeah,
I thought this was an update. I thought this was an update.
Well, they've added sales, but
yeah.
Did you guys know that Yarrow's judging?
They added sales. They added sales to this component.
Yarrow judging.
I think Yarrow just wanted to do the story to bring up the fact that he is judging.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry. Did you guys say
So
Yarrow?
this is
I didn't even mention that.
I know, but you waited for us to mention it, so it didn't seem pretentious.
Are you judging this competition, Yarrow?
I think I heard he was.
Well, you muted yourself or something, Yarrow. Are you?
No,
are you
I head nodded. I bobble dogged. I said yes, I am.
What are you judging? Are you a hardware judge again for this competition?
Yes, Jason, I've taken on the most complex assignment where you don't get to actually crack open the flower and where so many other components affect the experience of the end user. It's a little harder than flower, but maybe someday I'll put in a good word for you. We'll see.
Okay.
If you do this story again next week, you're going to have to tell us your methodology for judging the suppositories, Yarrow, and I'm just going to make that a request.
Yo.
I just called the plug.
Oh, man.
You got to give before and after pictures too.
Oh boy.
Just boof it.
Instead of grape gas, it's gaping gas.
Whoa.
Gaper gas?
Oh, that's what he said.
Man,
Saman, we're going to be great friends. We're just...
You guys. I think we have one more commercial, Adam. Yeah, we're going to go to our next commercial before this thing turns into a mess.
Yeah, that's...
Sounds like they sell it now.
Yeah, turns in. It hasn't already.
I just want to have a deep fried gummy.
Yeah, you do.
Deep fried gummy?
Deep fried medicated gummies.
That does sound like some fair food.
It does.
Corn dog flavored.
Deep fried suppositories.
Oh boy. Teach everyone to say hello again.
No one's ever called me a deep fryer before, big boy.
Real deep.
All right.
Deep Rico. Let's go to Deep Rico.
Let's go to this commercial.
I'm Jason Beck, and this is Smoky Vanilla. And if you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to get a stretch and smoke with Smoky Vanilla.
Hi, I'm Smoky Vanilla. I have my bachelor's degree in kinesiology, and I'm a sports massage therapist and stretch coach. I focus mostly on individuals that are in sport with chronic pain or injury. I love to intuitively create and customize a session based on the individual that I'm working with. We'll go over a few postural assessments, work together to create a wellness journey based on the health history, past injuries, or anything still affecting you today. And we'll get you back on your feet right away with less pain.
We're about to stretch, and then we're gonna smoke, because we're gonna get on our stretch and smoke. If you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to come on down and get a stretch and smoke with none other than Smoky Vanilla.
Ah, yes, and coming up next, that's right, it's the man who helps women over 40 say hello again. He is a formulation expert and specializes in all things formulas, especially love languages for women over 40. That's right, it is Mr. Saman Razani.
And the crowd goes wild.
Thank you. Jason, you're getting better and better every week.
I try, bro. I try.
Well, I mean, it's all about improving. Happy Tuesday, everybody out in the world. Happy Tuesday to everybody in our chat, my favorite people. Thank you so much for always bringing smiles to my face on Tuesdays. And to our distinguished panel of pundits here, my favorite people also. Today I got a story from North Carolina, and very interesting story. This is raw news, not our favorite, not MJ Biz Daily, but it's definitely good news coming out of North Carolina. New version of North Carolina medical marijuana bill would ban recreational marijuana in the future. Medical marijuana opponents fear that if legalized, medical marijuana would quickly lead to a push to fully legalize marijuana for recreational use. A new change to the bill is meant to address those concerns, win more GOP support. North Carolina Senate on Monday sent its strictest ever proposal on medical marijuana to the state house for final approval in the last-minute effort to push a legalization bill over the finish line as the 2024 legislative session enters its final days. The Senate has now passed a medical marijuana bill in each of the past 3 years. each time with broad bipartisan support. But in 2022 and 2023, the House refused to allow it to go up for a vote. Senate Republican leaders are now trying to earn more support in their third try. The Senate approved one key change Monday, banning marijuana from being allowed for recreational use in North Carolina in the future. Excuse me one sec, guys. Okay. Yes, excuse me. Okay. One of the main arguments opponents to medical marijuana have cited is a concern that if legalized, medical marijuana would quickly lead to a push to fully legalize marijuana for any adult to use for any reason. This change, proposed by the bill's lead backer, Senator Bill Rabin, Republican from Brunswick, is meant to address those concerns. Medical marijuana enjoys broad bipartisan support among the general public, as well as in the state Senate. It passed the Senate 33-9 in an initial vote last week and 36-10 in the final vote on Monday. But the House has consistently stonewalled the idea. Although it would be expected to pass if put up for a vote, House Speaker Tim Moore said not enough House GOP members support the idea, so he won't allow it to receive a vote. While the new change approved Monday to block future recreational legalization is intended to sway some of those social conservatives in the White House who have been blocking it, one of the few marijuana opponents in the Senate urged his like-minded colleagues in the House to stand firm and keep blocking the bill from moving forward. North Carolina has a way of stopping something that I think is a mistake, said Senator Norm Sanderson, Republican from Pamlico. Hemp and CBD regulations. Another effort by the Senate to sweeten the pot for the House is by tying passage of the medical marijuana bill to a separate bill on CBD and hemp regulation, House Bill 563, a priority for House leadership. Democratic Attorney General Josh Steen told RAL last week that he was concerned that the CBD portion of the bill didn't go far enough to stop children from getting their hands on hemp products currently being sold in North Carolina. It does not protect kids by requiring an ID check, placing drugs behind the counter and away from kids, or keep kids out of the store altogether. Keeping sales away from the schools, adequately addressing advertising or packaging, protecting the child or holding violators accountable, Steen wrote in a statement. We can and must do more to keep our kids safe. Todd, that's our favorite slogan.
Yes.
On Monday, the Senate voted to amend the bill to address some of those issues. A change to the bill proposed by Senator Michael LaRaza, a Republican from Onslow, would require stricter ID checks for in-person sales as well as online delivery orders. The new language approved Monday would also require that in any store open to customers under 21 years old, such as convenience stores, hemp and CBD products would have to be kept locked up or behind the counter or otherwise inaccessible to customers without help from an employee. After the vote Monday night, Steen said the new changes were a good start but shouldn't be the final version. I support the provision of the bill regarding medical cannabis, but there's still real work to be done to better protect our kids, he said. And that's the story from Raul. This is an interesting story, and I'm just going to say this is my perspective on things. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for these states to be proposing a bill that keeps cannabis medical. And I don't think it's for the state's sake that I'm saying this. I think I'm saying this for the operator's sake. Now, I've been in this business a long time. I started in Colorado in 2009. And what I've seen is a systematic dismantling of the grassroots cannabis movement, okay? And so if you're an operator and you have been doing this a long time, I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but you shouldn't want to pass a bill or a law to create an adult use cannabis scene or regulation in your state, because what's going to happen is the same thing that's happened systematically in every other state. Keeping it medical protects the operators, the growers, the people that have been doing this, and from that perspective, I say that. So I'd love to hear what everyone else has to say about this. I think this is obviously this is foundational to ideology and not what I'm talking about. Like, the South still has many, many miles to move. But I think that it's a good thing for people that are doing any kind of medical cannabis operation in North Carolina, if they're, Native Americans, or if they're other people trying to do this for profit. I think this is a good thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, Saman. I mean, I think who would also probably agree with this is the whole THCA market out there.
No, they love it. I mean,
they don't want adult use necessarily out there because that's going to cut into all of their into their pocketbooks. And North Carolina is one of the number one states for THCA sales in the country.
Well,
it's
all the tobacco fields
great example.
Turning into hemp fields, man.
See what I'm saying? What are you going to say, Jenny?
Yep. I was just saying, look at Colorado, right? So, I ran stuff in Colorado Springs for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado Springs is still only medical, and people are driving to the little edge of town to get their recreational cannabis because not everybody can get a rec. Not everybody has a qualifying. I mean, obviously, we know that you guys can find doctors who will sign it for your back injury that you didn't have in 1942, right? So
all use is medical use.
We have a differing opinion on that, and not that not all use is medical. I believe it's either spiritual or physical medicine, but you don't get into the woo-woo stuff or I
don't believe in woo-woos.
Mental health and things like that. So
I don't believe in none of that shit.
We have a different opinion on why, but I don't think that, North Carolina is about to do something that is crazy, and it's not to protect the kids. So we'll see what happens. I definitely agree. I prefer when we were medical. But I think that California is a great example of how not to fucking switch over from a medical to a recreational market. And I think that's giving a lot of people kind of shell shock because we've watched kind of some of our businesses take a ginormous shit. But I also watched Colorado Springs still trying to fight for recreational use. They're surrounded by James Dobson's Focus on the Family Center, the Air Force. It's like a little South Bible Belt bubble in Colorado, and they're trying to fight for rec use so that they can save some of their bottom lines. So I think there's good and bad. It's just how you transition.
Mm-hmm. I'm super glad that you brought this article today. This is a great article for us to discuss. It's rich with things we can riff, ramble, and rant about. This is a major step backwards. The notion that a state would ban something even if it becomes federally legal. It makes me want to mention abortion again, but I'm not gonna. Okay,
you already did.
Relax about that. But
that's what makes America great, Yarrow.
The idea that they would come up with something that says even in the event that the federal government legalizes this, it's not okay here, is really regressive policy, and I really appreciate you bringing this article for us to discuss today.
We appreciate your opinion. I mean, obviously it's regressive from where we've gone, but I would say, and I would argue that we have regressed in general from where the cannabis industry should be and the trajectory it was on versus where we're at now.
Yeah, we used to get like $4,000 a pound.
I'm shocked that
it also used to be good enough to just have 100 pounds. Now that shit needs to be trimmed, smoke well, clean.
I'm in my feelings, Todd. I'm in my feelings for sure, man. Like this is
but I'm shocked that you agreed with any kind of restriction. Government stepping in and making restrictions.
I prefaced with, this is from an operator perspective, not from any other.
Oh, he put his disclaimer. That's his disclaimer, Todd.
That's a disclaimer, Todd. But in all honesty, the conglomerization of all of the cannabis operations are only because of this push to legalize for adult use. Because everybody else in that Prop 215 era was thriving more. Yes, there was threats of incarceration with that, which now, you have less of that, but it's still not legal. There's those threats still linger, right? So it's not
isn't it about freeing the weed for the people?
See what you did there.
Todd, they're already getting access. Todd, they're already getting access. It's called THCA. So, it's like they're already getting
So now you're a fan of hemp-derived THCA.
No.
And fake shit.
Not hemp-derived THCA.
Here we go.
Saman's doing.
I'm not
Let me find out some.
I'm not a fan. Hold on.
You rolled out medical in Nevada, and then we did recreational.
There's a difference between THCA and synthesized Delta 9.
Thanks. I work in a lab. lab. Thank you.
I know. I'm telling you, just to reiterate for our audience. Okay, there's no THCA synthesis process. You're not going to create that THCA product. And if you are going to create that THC product, trust me when I say it's not going to be like so readily available until somebody really makes that a scaled process, which takes a lot of money because the chemical synthesis is pretty intense with all that.
Saman, what is your THCA brand called?
My THCA brand is called High at 9 News.
There we go. So we do want to thank the C word. We do want to thank the C word very much for a big old super chat who says, "Good morning. Somebody please think of the children."
Yeah, think of that, Todd Denkin.
So Todd, are you telling me that that Saman basically stole Rico's flip flops on this issue?
Well, there's no flip flops on this issue. Fuck DA. Fuck the hemp-derived THC product. But I'm gonna say, if you're an operator, look at these huge hands. Okay, look,
huge.
If you're an operator in North Carolina and you're doing, if you have a medical cannabis business or you have something going on, adult use is a direct threat to that. You'll see what's going to happen. Yes, everybody pushes for it because we want to see progress. But when it comes down to it, the people suffering were the original grassroots movers and shakers that brought this industry to where it is, that brought these brands to where it is. And that's just how it is, man.
That's true. No argument there.
No argument there.
I don't know. Access, more access.
I like the access.
Limited government bullshit.
Todd, how much could we invest into like an industry organization that protects that? Because that's really where it is.
The industry has to have money to do that.
But the industry can lobby.
I don't know. We got to pay MJ Freeway $80,000 a year.
Exactly.
So, there's not a lot left over.
Rico, are you with us?
Jeez, they are big.
Thank you.
You hear me?
Yeah, there. Now we can. Yeah. Are you ready to introduce Jenny Beth?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Taking us home today is a well-known cannabis executive with Georgian roots. She's the mind behind Kind Cannabis Consulting and the juice that fuels Justice Serve 501c3. In the studio today to challenge Jason's claim to being the highest Republican in the room.
Can't challenge my claim on shit.
That's that. Y'all know who it is. Jenny Beth Dills.
We'll let Jason be the highest. I'll stick with the hottest. That's okay. All right. You're already challenged enough. It's all right. Okay, you guys. So this is, thanks for the juice behind. That's awesome. Thanks. So this is something that's obviously very near and dear to my heart. I'm glad to stick along these themes, and you guys will notice my stories usually have a fucking theme. Hundreds seek social equity cannabis business licenses in the first 24 hours of the program. More than 700 Minnesotans began applying for pre-approval of adult use marijuana business licenses within the first 24 hours of the social equity licensing program commencing. The Minnesota Office of Cannabis Management is giving social equity applicants ranging from veterans to new farmers to those who have faced historical harms from the war on drugs a head start on business licenses. The office has encouraged people to submit their application early. Interim Director Charlene Briner told NPR News Tuesday morning that the hundreds of applications indicate a significant level of interest in the budding industry. No shit. However, verification is just the first step, and it doesn't necessarily mean that all the people who have entered the system and applied for that status will actually follow through and submit a full license. So that remains to be seen, Briner said. But I think we're excited about the high level of activity. Full license applications open to entrepreneurs July 24th. OCM will review applicants' business plans, safety and security plans, labor peace agreements, ownership structure, capitalization tables, and more during its vetting process. Then successful applications go into a lottery as the number of licenses is limited as dictated by laws passed during the last couple of legislative sessions. Briner says the legislature's good work and participation from advocates in the lawmaking process will help stave off legal challenges as seen in other states. In addition to buyouts by large entities of social equity business owners who lacked capital to sustain their companies. We're unique in some of the protections that we've added to the legislative session this year that really protect that kind of craft industry model and make sure the businesses are prepared to succeed in what's a very volatile market, Briner said. We feel confident that we're in as good a position as we can be in to continue to launch. The timeline of when licenses turn into businesses is still hazy and depends largely on the number of applicants, according to Briner. The office will know more on August 12th when the licensing window closes, she believes. All right, soapbox time. First of all, I would love to see these protections and how you're going to enforce them, because I guarantee you if I go down that list of 700, one of these groups who's like, let me come get you an expungement. Send me all your charge information. Send me your name and your location and all this shit so that one day I can jump on your license and write something in and I own a portion of it. Or some of these people who are like, did you know that your neighborhood was affected by the war on drugs and you too can have a cannabis license? I don't feel like... I want to read it. I want to read it before I completely... Yeah, gross. Gross and disgusting, and shame the fuck on all of you. This is a beautiful opportunity. Cannabis is a unique industry in that we could see actual restorative justice, but we don't, because there are all kinds of people who own social equity licenses that shouldn't. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It makes me sick, and trying to get these operators into a position where they actually get to operate and own their own businesses that were slated for them is something that makes me want to like literally punch people in their face. So I want to see exactly what these little safe holds they've put into place are, because Jesus and the baby.
Jesus and the baby. Man. Jenny's going to be punching, Jenny's punching people in the face, giving them black eyes, apparently.
Hey, allegedly. Not apparently.
Yeah, no,
allegedly.
Definitely. That's the last statement about the legalization. It's opening the doors to these predatory organizations or lawyers, whoever they are, that are going to exploit that. Mm-hmm. And of course, at the end of the day, those guys are going to end up on top. So you have this person or people that have been incarcerated, maybe wrongly accused, or maybe just like disproportionately accused of something that is like a negligible thing, like having cannabis possession, smoking cannabis, even selling cannabis. I mean, even if you're like, selling cannabis, we know bottom line is like either you're not making that much money on it, so you're not like enriching yourself. You're paying your bills at maximum, and that person is going to end up going through whatever they go through in the system. Then they get out, they see this opportunity, they regain hope, and then boom, that hope is crushed by some predatory, selfish, greedy organization that wants to, benefit off of that pain and suffering from someone. It is distasteful completely. There should be a more of an emphasis on like having those people, more in charge of their own destinies. But we all know that the financial burden and the barrier of entry is so high that it's impossible for those people to gather the money to do it. It's like impossible for me to do it. So it's like, especially that, right? But unfortunately, that's where it is today. So yeah, when I say things like fuck the adult use recreational cannabis situation and all with all of these laws and rulemaking processes, it's because this is what ends up happening, and this is just one more reason why after all these years. Oh, shit, Jay, come on, bro.
Sorry, I apologize, bro. I apologize.
Two damn phones.
It's programmed to be on Do Not Disturb, so I apologize.
We
my
all
bad.
got multiple phones.
But I'm going to wrap that up. I think everyone gets my point. Yeah.
No, Saman, I agree with you completely, and I think that the capital issue, like, look, L.A., in its little epicenter, has more money and more commerce than probably the entire state of Colorado. So why the fuck is Colorado giving more money and grants out to social equity applicants? Maybe we could pull some back from some of these regulators that really like having that very high fucking salary to do absolutely dick all and try to skull fuck a way to figure out this application process. Why don't we scale something back and put it into the programs it's supposed to support? Sorry. Yeah. I get really frustrated about this situation because I watch people struggle and get pushed into predatory agreements, and like literally half of my job is being like cheerleader, fucking social worker, support system, cry on my shoulder, we're not going to give up, you own 100% of your business and we're going to find a way, hell or high water, to make this work for you. And so the fact that I see people packaging, being the packager or being the grow tech in their own fucking license literally makes me want to scream.
Sometimes they like that, but I mean, yeah, I think it's all about that clawback, and I think that comes from industry. Like the industry leaders have to come together to, approach the lawmakers and kind of like, make sure that's happening. There should be, absolutely should be.
That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen
not
because
as long as they're profiting from it.
Because the unions like the SEIU and other different things are getting too much of this tax revenue to give anything up to help with this situation.
You know who can help? Those people who sorted everything out, those Craigslist ads in Missouri.
Oh, you got jokes
That's
today.
how you get real for equity applicants.
That's how you figured that out, huh? Cute.
Yeah.
Cute, Rico.
It's just disappointing, you guys, and I'm sorry to get so frustrated about it. It's so disappointing, and there's so many ways that this could work. And I want to address something that C-Word said. He's like, why is restorative justice unique to marijuana? It's not unique to marijuana. This is a unique use case, though, where we can see people who have in our lifetime been incarcerated for the same shit that we're making money for right now have their lives restored. That's the juice behind justice served, right? Like, this is something that we could actually right the wrongs that we've seen. And I think that that's a beautiful opportunity that is being absolutely squandered. So if you own a social equity license and you are not a social equity applicant, fucking shame on you. Don't talk to me.
And the other part of that answer to C-Word is the reason why is because DEI exists in all the other industries.
Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Before the
you want to take that bait? You want to take that bait, Rico?
Before the whole DEI movement, no, I have to, because people start believing the shit that you Republicans say, and they take that as fucking word. Like the whole DEI movement, as we saw that like rise and fall, came well after social equity became a thing out here in cannabis in California. So don't even
that part's too.
I mean, the biggest disgraces are the biggest proponents. That's like the ones that are going to be fighting and championing for those, like whatever, those people that are trying to include, end up being the biggest predators of them all. Because at the end of the day, what's worse than somebody who's been through the ringer and the gauntlet to just come to the doorstep of someone that's going to help them, and then we see what that help does.
Right. No, 100%. Like, I've lost contracts over this shit, and I can still say that I will help them for free. Like, if you're not willing to give your time for free to really, as someone who's doing well and making money in this industry, help the people who deserve to have these licenses, then don't say that you're for social equity. If you're needing attention and whatever for everything that you do, don't say you're for social equity. That's shameless self-promotion. If you are truly trying to help, then go volunteer your fucking time and help.
Fair enough, Jenny Beth. And if people do need your help, where can they find you?
I will help any.
Tell them your website, Jenny.
You can hit me at kindcannabis.us or hit me at justiceserved.com. If you are someone who has been incarcerated, please come through. I will give you consulting services for fucking free. Gladly, all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
There we go. Look at that.
Yeah,
giving back. Giving back. Look at that, Rico.
Sunday must be a busy day for you if you do it twice.
Chick-fil-A is closed.
I do a lot of things twice on Sunday. Todd? It's okay. Hey.
Nice.
You ready, Rico?
On that note, yes. Thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, High 9 on the East Coast. Big shout out to our super fans showing love, getting their comments posted live on the big screen. I know I saw the C word in there. Do we have any others today, Jason?
Just the C word today. Shout out to the C word.
Big
Much
shout
appreciated.
Out to the C word. Yes, much love. And but also the rest of our live audience and online supporters catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. To our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table. Thank you to all the sponsors keeping our lights on, our production team, Cloud Media Partners, keeping the AV struggles to a minimum. Unfortunately, thank you for your patience. And always, bit my fucking lip right there.
Easy there.
It has been Tuesday, June 25th.
I'm worried about the liability.
June 25th, 2024. Shows are over. You've all been blessed with top industry headlines. Hope it's enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad in the street for High 9 News, cannabis industry's #1 daily news. Right back out to Vegas. What you got for us today, Todd Denkin?
I have some nothing but good stuff. Good things happening here in Vegas. Good thing happening around the world. Like I said, let's just be nice to each other.
Yes.
Peace and love. Peace and love, everybody.
Peace and love.
And come gamble in
Love and
Vegas.
peace.